Hi, my name's Ian. I'm a dad, I'm an engineer. Uh, I've been worried about climate change and I've been feeling a little bit better since I've been learning about this molecule. Forgive me if I cough through this. I've been meaning to make this video for a couple weeks now, and I said, well, I'm just going to do it whether I'm healthy enough or not. All right. So today I want to talk about this molecule and what it's already used for today because I think it answers some people's concerns, right? So we can make ammonia, green ammonia with electricity, air, and water. And ammonia is a little bit scary to some people, but there's some rationale why we would want to do this. It's relatively cheap to make from entirely green sources, and we can use it as fuel. Uh, it is a lot easier to ship and store and use than hydrogen, which means the whole enterprise is quite a bit cheaper. Right now, why do we want fuel? Let's just start right there. If you've seen my other videos, you've heard me say this before, but here we go. We want fuel because lithium, people aren't very forthcoming with the restrictions of batteries. You see, diesel has 36 times more energy in a volume, in a liter, in a gallon, than lithium. And so when they say batteries are getting better and that there's these amazing breakthroughs in batteries, they're talking about a 5% improvement, not a 36 time improvement, right? It's batteries are just, we can make them work for cars, but the batteries in cars are enormous. And the amount of energy that cars using isn't very much. A train uses a lot more energy than a car. And so the amount of batteries you would need is enormous. Same with a transport truck or a ship, right? Or tractor. So liquid fuel just makes sense. And if we can do it with green sources, if we can do it without relying on any carbon, we're going to be in good shape. And that's where ammonia, you get the hydrogen from electrolysis. The air is 78% nitrogen, easy to get. That's where this comes from. All right. But people are often kind of afraid of this idea. Isn't ammonia super dangerous? So we actually use a lot of ammonia today. Globally, we use about 100 million barrels of oil every single day, and we use 5 million barrels of ammonia every day. And most of the ammonia we use as straight ammonia, direct ammonia, is used by farmers. Right? So across all of the farms in the US, about 27% of the fertilizer is what they call anhydrous. Anhydrous means without water. So it's just pure ammonia. It's ammonia in a tank, right? And there's other things, urea and other ammonia based fertilizers, but pure ammonia, they use a lot of it. And why we use ammonia, plants can't grab nitrogen out of the air, but they need it to grow. And without the ability to add nitrogen to the soil, uh, we were actually in really bad shape. About 100 years ago, we couldn't grow any more food. We couldn't do it because we hadn't invented a way to create ammonia yet. And at that time, even with every other farming innovation you can think of, probably the world could only support 3.5 billion people. This invention, this chemical way to create ammonia, feeds the world. It's super important. So in the US, this anhydrous, this pure ammonia, they use 4.1 million tons or 1.6 billion gallons. Billion gallons. All right. So let's frame that. They use 1 million tons of rubber or 3 million tons of vinegar, 7 million tons of beef. Okay. So the amount of anhydrous ammonia is somewhere between the amount of vinegar and the amount of beef. All right. It's not used very much as a fuel, right? But 1.6 billion gallons compared to 20 billion gallons of propane, it's in the same neighborhood, right? And the tanks are basically identical. So you could take a propane tank and use it for ammonia with you might change a couple fittings, but the basic structure of the tank, all the engineering's basically identical. They swap them all the time. So who uses which farmers use anhydrous? Well, it's mostly corn, and so it's probably about there isn't perfect stats on this. It's probably about 316,000 farms use anhydrous ammonia every year, right? Okay. And how they use it, they have a tractor and they drag blades and knife. So they turn over the soil a bit, which allows them to shoot the ammonia a little bit below the surface of the soil. Right. So here you see they're dragging the rig to knife it, and there's a big tank, um, and that's how they shoot the ammonia into the soil. So some stats on this: they use a pump to increase the pressure so it will shoot into the soil, right? So it's shooting in at 50 to 200 psi, depending on the rate. The tanks are between 1,000 and 2,000 gallons, and the rate they can apply this ammonia, it's up to 80 gallons a minute. Okay, so people get nervous about ammonia, but the farmers, they're shooting it at up to 120 psi, up to 80 gallons a minute. That's I'm just cruising around doing that all day long, right? With a tank of 2,000 gallons. So these tanks, if you live in the Midwest, you might see them around. They're quite big. It's a pressure vessel. It's engineered, it's rated, it's stamped. We know a lot about how to make these tanks. These are totally off the shelf, right? It's got, you know, components you might expect. It's got gauges where you can see how full it is. It's got pressure gauges. It's got pressure relief valves, drains. You can bleed them. Yeah, it's a tank. And the applicators, so you've got the wheel, which is going to ride on the surface, and then these blade things are going to bite into the soil. And then there's a rubber hose you can see that comes down with a pressure nozzle at the end. Yeah. So this is not, you know, space aged, highly engineered stuff. It's steel and hoses and you know, and the application, the process, well, comes out of the tank. And so there's a dip tube, there's a tank shutoff valve, another shutoff valve, a quick coupler in case something gets stuck and pulled off. It's not gonna all leak out. It will stop if there's a break in the hose. Um, Pressure gauges. You can look it up. This is all engineered. It's all designed. It's fine. It's fine. 120 psi, 80 gallons a minute, right? So people are worried about ammonia. Ammonia can do two things primarily to you. The first is on your skin, touching your body, you can get a chemical burn. Chemical burns don't tend to kill people, but it is a serious burn, right? You can second, third degree burns. Right? The other thing is the vapors. So the vapors are roughly as dangerous as carbon monoxide, right? So a house fire, because you're in a confined space, you can't get out, and there's a huge concentration of carbon monoxide. It's very dangerous. You can die very quickly. Confined space, huge concentration. But outside, standing across the street from a house fire, you might breathe some smoke, you might cough a bit, but you're probably not going to die, right? Campfire. There's carbon monoxide in a campfire, but you're not going to die. Ammonia, it's basically the same, right? So a bit of it outside. So as they shoot that into the soil, most of it is absorbed in the soil. Some of it will, for whatever reason, I don't know, there's a bump. And so it doesn't go as deep in. It will go out into the air, and it, in low concentrations, does not hurt the atmosphere, does not hurt animals, doesn't hurt anybody. It evaporates away and it's fine. Believe me or believe OSHA. Occupational Health and Safety has stats on this. Uh, they're free, they're public, you can check it out. So I went back the last 10 years and looked at the 26 incidents they had recorded. Maybe there's others, right, that weren't recorded. People might have chemical burns that didn't go to the hospital. It's possible. But in this sample, in the last 10 years, there was one farm related ammonia fatality. People were working on a very large tank in a confined space. And we're not really sure what happened. They might have opened the wrong valve and just released it all. But in that closed barn, with a huge volume of ammonia and no rescue plan, nobody looking out for them, this worker working on their own, they died. And it is, you can read it. It's definitely unfortunate. But the other 25 incidents, okay, they're also interesting. Many of these, again, um, somebody made a mistake. They didn't follow the safety procedures that they should have been doing, but they lived. Like one incident, this person, they accidentally opened the wrong valve and shot themselves in the face. No eye protection, no breather, no protection. Shot themselves in the face with 100 pounds of ammonia, and they lived. If you shot yourself in the face with 100 pounds of anything, you're going to be burned, right? It's not good. So is this crazy to think that we could use it as a fuel? Well, let me draw some comparisons. Other OSHA incidents. And I'll be honest, I got lazy. So I looked at 3 years instead of 10 years. I think you'll see my point here. Okay. So in 3 years, not 10 years, carbon monoxide killed 33 people. It's about as dangerous from a parts per million, but it's odorless. Ammonia you can smell. So when you smell ammonia, you know to get away. Carbon monoxide, you don't. 33 deaths. Farms themselves are pretty dangerous. There's heavy equipment, You're exposed to the weather, things break, tires blow up, all sorts of stuff can happen. So, just farms in general, 41 deaths. People don't like to think batteries or EVs are dangerous, but electrocution, 166 deaths. Electricity is dangerous. And the last one, just because, think about it. Horses. Horses kill about one person a year. Horses. And ammonia had one death in 10 years. So am I being blasé about the risk? No, I don't think so. But is it a huge risk? It's less risky than horses. So I think it's fair to say it could be considered. Now, if you're at all curious about this, I didn't show you a video of people just doing this. I encourage you to check it out. There's a ton of videos on YouTube of people showing you how to apply anhydrous ammonia. I took this screen grab so you could see this guy here. He's wearing a mask, he's wearing a respirator, and it has a shield over his eyes. That's a good practice, especially because he's got a broken hose behind him and decent sized cloud of ammonia. Now, like the campfire, he's standing a couple feet away and he's standing upwind, so he's not in a huge amount of danger. He knows what to do. He's got the safety equipment, and so you'll see him mucking around with his hoses trying to get it fixed. There's danger to it. You got to respect it, but he's this isn't a daredevil show. This is a farmer showing you how he does his work. So in summary, 1.6 billion gallons of ammonia. Farmers use a ton of ammonia pretty safely. Pretty safely. So is it a reasonable idea to think we could use this safely if we follow proper procedures, have the right training, the right equipment? If it was a green fuel for trains or transport trucks. I mean, it seems like a reasonable thing to explore. And it's green. And honestly, it's pretty close to the price of diesel. So I think it's a pretty exciting idea. Take care. Please forgive the voice. I'm glad I got this out. Okay.